Hi guys, Kurt from YouTube, Kurt from Time Machine Transport. So I've been having some serious issues with the content that I'm trying to put up about China invading America. I've done 4 videos already. Every one of them has been kicked out. I try to go live. They won't let me go live. They say my channel's ineligible to go live. So obviously it must be content that I'm putting up. So I'm going to do several short videos and see if this works. Try to keep it from kicking me out. So I'll probably end up doing 10 or 15 videos instead of 5. So let's get into a few things. So I got, obviously, I'm going to prop my phone up against my pen holder on my desk. All right, so these are the things. See if I can get on this. Sorry, guys. So anyways, let's go into why. I mean, if you're not paying attention to everything that's going on, this is my theory with it. I won't keep saying the invasion word, but let's go ahead and start looking at some stuff here.
I have a truck full of Mexicans, a truck full of Chinese, and a truck full of Islamic terrorists. What truck do you not want entering the United States?
Chinese.
Do you think President Obama believes that there are Chinese coming over the border through Mexico?
I don't know. I'm not certain, and that is where we may disagree. I'm not certain how much we have to fear Chinese coming across the border.
In this part of the world, we don't have a lot of tourist attractions, but this is one of them. This is a emergency distress beacon. And most people find it curious that it's in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Chinese. And since the last time we were out here, they've even been so nice as to add a 5-gallon bucket of water, courtesy of the United States government. This has been here at least a couple of years. They put it here for a specific reason because this is the point that they travel quite a bit. There are 8 of them along the Texas border.
I have a question for you. Why do you think that sign should be down along the border in Texas? Written in English, written in Spanish, and in Chinese. The government made that, Congressman.
Our government?
Yes. I mean, you've been in Congress for 22 years, right?
Right.
Okay. Has anybody ever showed you that picture before?
No.
Nobody's ever.
No.
Nobody's ever
No.
gone to one of your hearings and said, "Look at this picture."
No.
No. Marketing 101. Make your advertisements to the people who are going to read them.
We know they're coming in here. We caught a hodgepodge group back out here, 16. Had 2 Asian girls, Chinese. They both spoke English. And both of them paid $50,000 each to come in here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Then we had, and in that same group, we had at least 3 or 4 Indians and a couple of Pakistanis. I think there was 1 Mexican in the group. That was it.
Am I wrong in saying that the president's #1 job is to keep Americans safe?
Yeah, everything else is secondary to that. Clearly, it's not even, it's the main, to me, it's the number 1, 2, and 3. Everything else, no matter how important anything else is, health, education, none of that matters if we're dead.
How would you describe President Obama's attitude toward the war on terror?
I would say it's very schizophrenic, damaging, and it's been very frustrating.
So, Congressman, what you're saying is that the number...
All right. So that's one thing. Now, and we're going to be doing several videos on this. This gentleman, Smokey Hardwick, this was just a few days ago. I'll let you listen to this.
This was sent out an hour ago. Now, there ain't no need to ask why. We already checked this out. Feds seize 19,888 fake state driver's license, which were made in China in Chicago O'Hare Airport.
And that was done on the
This
7th.
was sent out an hour ago.
Of this month. Now, I'm not the only person here that thinks that we will, that obviously what we're talking about. I'm going to try to keep those words minimal. They just keep kicking out my videos, and I believe it's because of the content. And it could be because I'm showing other people's videos, but I don't know. So let's go on, we'll take a look at this one.
This is from America Quarterly, something like that. I'll put the description. I'll put the link in the description. One headline in the Asia Times Online proclaimed China on the march in Latin America. Another in Military Review warned of China's threat to the United States. In Uncle Sam's backyard, China's military influence in Latin America. Such language underlines fears about China becoming a military rival to the U.S. or worse, undermining U.S. security in a region defined in the past by the Monroe Doctrine. The truth, though, doesn't look anything like the headlines. Although military diplomacy and arms sales and transfer to some countries of the region have increased.
All right, so that was China military in Mexico and Latin America. That Mr. Smokey Hardwick says that this news article said that they have Chinese military camps on the U.S. border. Now, he just did another one today.
Okay, guys, I just came across this information. China is building roads and facilities in Canada. And from what I understand, they also doing it in Victoria, Australia. Now tell me again why the Chinese military in Canada is fake news. This right here is probably the assets that they are protecting. They're running Chinese propaganda ads on TV.
All right, so go on over to Smokey Hardwick's channel and you can see the rest of it. Subscribe to his channel. Now, the reason why, well, let's look at a few other things. So this guy here basically says that he has some sources that are telling him that are in the National Guard that they're obviously being prepared in case Trump doesn't win the election. And I did these videos in my other videos, so I'm kind of done playing them long. So I'm going to try to hit on a bunch of videos quickly. This channel is Full Spectrum Survival.
They're being closely in the government of the United States of America knows that this nation is in a collapse. Society is divided. The division that is tearing families apart and making enemies out of once closely held and longtime friends is moving all the way up the chain of command. The United States military and the governing body of the USG is preparing for what happens next. How are they getting ready? Let's talk about that now. According to recent reports, as well as information that we have heard from local servicemen and women, the National Guard in the United States of America is designating military police units in several U.S. states, some that they're telling you about, maybe some that they aren't, to act as rapid response forces that can be deployed across the nation at the very first sign of civil unrest. According to the reports, the military at this time, and for fear that the move would be considered a step toward martial law in the control of the rule of law, the military is declining to explicitly connect the creation of these social chaos forces to concerns about possible election-related violence. But it's obvious that the continuity of government is the primary mechanism of the U.S. government at this time, and that the nation is beginning to brace for unrest surrounding the 2020 presidential campaign.
Okay, so I played that one there because that's also part of the many videos to come. The civil unrest in America. Now, this is the reason why Canada, why Canada is basically in bed with China because of their exports.
Only 4.5% of all Canadian exports are sent to China, but our bilateral trade reached $95 billion in 2017. Of that amount, exports from Canada represent $23.6 billion. The largest Canadian export, 17% of the total, is oilseed. Wood pulp and paper products are the second highest exports to China at 16%, followed by logs, lumber, and plywood, and then motor vehicles. The federal government has made deepening the trade relationship with China an economic priority.
Okay, so out of $97 billion that Canada exports, almost $24 billion they export to China. So that would explain why they definitely need to be in bed with China. All right, now we have, there was a, on the Smokey Hardwick channel, he had a link that you click on. Now this was just recently, I guess. Now I'm former military. I was in an airborne unit over Vicenza, Italy. Did my time in a combat unit. So this video here that the guy's talking about, it looks to be about a company size. And it looks like they're just in a regular marching formation, not like in a road march formation. And I know that there are other countries, or a lot of countries, I don't know about a lot, but there are countries that have military exchange programs, where they train back and forth with each other's countries. I don't know why it would be important for Chinese military to be in Canada, but let's watch.
Coming up. Check out this. Holy cow. Whoa. On Salt Spring Island. And they're all Chinese military. Wow. I wonder what it is. Crazy.
And this was on September 2nd of 2020. All right, now we're going to go and we'll go into the Joe Rogan one next time. So let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. Okay, now, and I was spending pretty much the whole day yesterday looking into this stuff. All right, here's the Chinese military preparing for something. This is fairly recent.
Reports came in that Chinese President Xi Jinping ordered the People's Liberation Army, or Chinese military, to prepare for war without announcing what country is the enemy. Currently, tensions between China versus the United States, India and Taiwan have been increasing rapidly. Military presence is also growing drastically in territorial waters, especially in south of China Sea, and in borders of India and China. China has been also pumping up its military budget with an allocation of $178 billion, making it the second largest military budget in the whole world behind the United States, which currently has $712 billion, which is 4 times bigger than that of China. Even though the virus pandemic is not clearly over, it is unusual for the Chinese president to ask its military to be ready for war, while the other countries are busy in controlling the virus and building back its economy. The Chinese president said that it is necessary to step up preparations for armed combat, to flexibly carry out actual combat military training, and to improve the military's ability to perform military missions. Xi Jinping's order to the Chinese military to be ready for war also comes at a time when tensions are rising in Indian and Chinese border. There are fears of all-out combat in the border, as thousands of Chinese troops are already believed to be inside the Indian territory along the de facto border. Last May 5, 2020, a scuffle broke out between Indian and Chinese troops in the border, resulting 11 soldiers being injured on both sides. Chinese state media says that Indian troops trespass on the Chinese territory. China urged India not to take action that may complicate the situation. Weeks after the scuffle, Indian and Chinese soldiers have been deployed.
Okay, so, and then one more thing, and then we'll talk a little bit, or I'll do the talking, obviously. All right, so I'm going to get rid of these ones that I've already listened to, just so I know exactly what we are going to talk about later on this evening or tomorrow. All right, let's see. Okay, so now let's take a look at this real quick. I was really surprised on this one here.
J-15 transformation from a regional leader into a superpower that no longer hides its global ambitions. Today, China has the second largest economy in the world, and it continues to grow rapidly. However, a strong economy alone is not enough to real.
No, that wasn't the one. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so so I do a lot of YouTube stuff, obviously. There's so much that we have to get into here, and it's so intriguing. But okay, so here's a guy that does we'll just watch it.
The cracks with all the other issues.
I want to talk about these Chinese troops that was in Mexico 7 years ago. A truck driver reported it and said he's seen 7,000. He's seen like the 10,000 armored vehicles. Okay, and this guy's gonna explain it to you. So I want you to listen to what he's saying. And one of these troops hasn't left yet. It's still down in Mexico. Still ready to invade America. So here's the video.
Going on concerning the disaster in Japan, the economic impending collapse, and everybody watching for Nibiru. This is on Steve Quayle's website, dated March 14th. Eyewitness
It's
trucker delivers
2001.
food to Chinese troops south of Laredo, Texas and Mexico, looking for additional confirmations. The very worried trucker spent time in relating to me his account of delivering a tractor-trailer load of food to a Chinese military camp 60 miles south of Laredo, Texas. When I questioned him, this is what he stated. The camp is 2 miles wide by 3 miles long. There are 10,000 armored vehicles. It blew my mind. I asked him how he calculated the number of armored vehicles, and he said to me he had time to physically count the rows of armored vehicles as the Chinese soldiers unloaded his trailer. He further stated that each armored vehicle could hold between 8 and 10 men. He went on to relate that he was escorted into Mexico from Texas by Mexican federal police so that the truck wouldn't be hijacked by bandits. He stated that living quarters were shipping containers modified to accommodate the soldiers and were positioned neatly in rows. water tanks, generators, and communications complex. A full military base was operational and in place. It should be obvious that this contingency of Mexican pre-positioned Chinese troops and the Chinese troops pre-positioned in Canada are ready to roll north and south when given the command to do so. Under the UN Security Council mandates, it doesn't take much to analyze their purpose. Maybe it was a Freudian slip when the President of the United States stated it would be easier to be President of China. Kind of looks like he might get his chance. Before dismissing this eyewitness account, I suggest every believing follower of Jesus seek him in prayer for discernment and guidance. We are out of time. I also want to point out this pertinent section from the International Forecaster put out by Robert Chapman on February 23rd, a tender to China.
Okay, so I'm going to delete these other ones here just so we're not rewatching these things. We're gonna be going over a lot of things. Anyways, I'll turn the camera so I can talk to you guys. Like I said, the YouTube just keeps kicking out my stuff, and I don't know why. Well, I think I do know why, because of the content. So we're like I said, we're gonna do a bunch of videos and talk about this in depth. There's stuff about Richard Trudeau, the Prime Minister in Canada. There's a lot of stuff that has been coming out for years. Now, that last video that we watched was 2001, was when this trucker said that he saw, all these Chinese military. That was back in 2001, a long time ago, right? Why is that pertinent to today? Well, if you're gonna prepare for or make preparations for a big military invasion, obviously you're not going to do it overnight. It's going to take several years, and when you have a president who basically elected himself to be the Chinese president / dictator for life, that means that he's got, I believe Xi Jinping's in his 70s. I'll have to look that up on the next video. But his time, if he goes, when the U.S. being as weak as we are now, with all the division and all the civil unrest and all this and all that, with our election coming up, obviously, and whether Trump is elected or Biden's elected, I personally don't think Trump's going to be reelected. I voted for Trump. You guys know I'm a Trump supporter. I don't currently support Trump with the warp speed and the whole thing where they're, Bill and Melinda Gates are talking about, this vaccination and how elderly need to get it first and black folks need to get it first. And there's so much stuff that's just seems so nefarious going on right now. I'm not on board with that, and so I'll vote for Trump. I mean, I don't believe really in Trump right now, just because he's complicit to everything that's going on. And I really don't think he had coronavirus. I think it was a big ploy to make it seem like he did, so then all the Trump supporters can jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, well, if Trump got the vaccination, I'm going to get the vaccination. Or if Trump got all this, medication for COVID, I'm going to do it, because obviously we're brainwashed like that. So I really don't think that Trump's going to be reelected. I think that's part of the plan. I'm going to vote just in case, but I truly don't believe in democracy anymore, even though I am going to vote. It's still your obligation as a U.S. citizen. But it's not part of their plan. Trump is the only president that would stand up against an invasion. All these other politicians have given this country away, and I know I'm contradicting myself with the whole Trump thing, because I don't believe in him right now. But he's the lesser of the two evils once again. 2016, you had Clinton. He's the lesser of the two evils. But there's something going on, and we'll get into the video from Marfugel News. And I'm not a big Marfugel guy, where this last time Trump did a press not a press conference, but when he was supposedly in Walter Reed in Maryland, for the COVID thing. But when he did I guess when he addressed the nation, I wouldn't say addressed the nation, but when he basically came out and was talking behind the table with the white cabinets behind him, Marfugel, the video was moving, and they said it was either possible he was on a ship or on a submarine or on a plane, so he definitely wasn't at Walter Reed, and I agree with that. But what was the reason? Who knows? So, anyways, I'm gonna cut this video off now. We have a lot to talk about. Hopefully, this goes through because this is like the 5th time I've done this. Twice last night and again twice today. So we're gonna just keep going. Now, we're probably gonna do 20 videos. Who knows? But we need to keep doing this in depth, and I'll get to my theory, and we'll just build up from here. Hopefully, this video finds you well. Ciao.